What's going on, everyone? So, the San Antonio Spurs, they are a team that I think really can learn from this NBA playoffs, this NBA finals in particular, and of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Because Oklahoma City is a team that did it the right way, right? They built through the draft, got a couple key acquisitions via free agency as well as trade, right? But for the most part, was a team that went about it in the right way, the right manner, right? Built through the draft, hit on the right players, hit on the right pieces. Obviously, it helps. SGA emerged and became, a top 3 to 5 player in the league. That, obviously helps. But Wemby's a guy that could easily become that. I mean, as soon as next year, he could be a top 5 player in the league, right? Got a guy in a De'Aaron Fox. You got that key opportunistic trade, that piece that comes in. You got a bunch of young talent. Stephon Castle is a guy that can continue to grow and take strides. Dylan Harper could end up being a franchise guy for you, right? You look at kind of the trajectory and path that OKC took, but in the quickness in which it took, right? You see most rebuilds take 5-10 years even before teams really kind of hit their stride in that regard, and yet a team like OKC was able to kind of pull that out. Spurs have a history of that, building the right way, building through the draft, kind of hitting on the right moments, the right players, and being able to really maximize their windows and stuff. Right now, again, you want to be open. You want to have an opportunity to, if that right move or that right trade happens, you can take it, you can seize it. Right? De'Aaron Fox is a great example. Right? They were patient. They were active in trying to get a point guard in the offseason. Right? They were trying to get Trae Young, Darius Garland, all of these guys, and they failed to do so. But they didn't overpay. They didn't rush it. They stayed the course and they stayed patient. Next thing you know, you look up, De'Aaron Fox is a Spur. Kevin Durant obviously would have been a nice acquisition. But hey, if you go get Kevin Durant, talked about this, you're all in. Right? You don't go trade for a Kevin Durant 37 and then, hey, let's carve this out and build it out over the next 2-3 years. No, at that point, he's already gone. Why even trade for him? Right? So if you're the Spurs, again, there's nothing wrong with staying the course. If a Giannis becomes available, figure it out when Giannis becomes available. But for right now, you can follow, like, you have a proven model in an OKC, right? That you can now take and mirror that blueprint. A team that's already on that path. Again, Spurs are following that path and that trajectory already, right? But it shows what the patience, the reason it's key, because again, Spurs have done this before. It's not like OKC is the only team to ever figure this out. Spurs are a team that have done that. But what I'm saying is that it's one thing when you see the fruit of the labor, when the patience pays off, it kind of gives you that, okay, it still works, right? It's one thing when it's been 20 years, another thing when it's like, okay, this still is a proven formula that if you do correctly, you can hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy. You make the right moves, you make the right trades, you build things correctly, and you remain and stay patient. You can enjoy the fruit of your labor. And I think OKC is a team that really kind of justifies and solidifies that for the Spurs organization, the fans, the front office, all of that, right? Because, if Indiana comes in and wins it, right, it's like, oh, well, yeah, some of those guys were drafted, a lot of those guys were traded for, right? Veteran team, they weren't young, right? Like they had the experience, they really got to build through the experience. I mean, they're a young team, they have young guys, but I'm saying, like, you have all these things, and it's like, you're looking at these young teams that are really grinding this out and, are able to kind of expedite this process a lot quicker than we've seen in the past. Also, you look at these teams in OKC and Indiana, there's a lot of similarities, right? The defense, particularly out on the perimeter, the speed, the athleticism, right? That's why I think De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle are going to have success in your backcourt, because they are these athletic, versatile, defensive guards that can get after it. Now, De'Aaron Fox, as far as like doing the dirty work to the level of like a Lou Dort or a Caruso or something like that I think is probably not super likely, but Stephon Castle, I could maybe see, right? Him just being that relentless Swiss Army knife type guy, especially if he is the third, fourth option on that team, right? Behind a Wemby, a Fox, and maybe even a Dylan Harper, right? Him just kind of being there as that anchor, as that, hey, whatever you need from me tonight, I got you. You need me to defend? and just lock down, be clamps, gotcha. Need me to play make and do whatever, gotcha. Need me to go drop 20, I gotcha. Whatever you need, right? And him kind of playing that, again, that Swiss Army knife, chameleon-like role where I can just fit in and adapt to whatever you need, right? I think that could go a long way for a Spurs team. But really, you look at, again, OKC and Indiana, but OKC kind of following the model, right? Like, they are a team that is built on guard play, particularly on the defensive side of things, right? But they have their identity. Spurs need to find and create an identity. OKC has that identity, that relentless defensive just menace, right? Like, we're going to be in your chest the entire game. We are going to swarm you. We are going to rotate on everything. We are going to switch on everything. We might be smaller than you. We might not be as, great shooting or whatever, but you're going to feel us, right? You're going to know we're here, right? Like, and that's what, again, there's always a different path. There's always a different route. Like, Pacers aren't OKC, right? Spurs aren't OKC. OKC isn't the Spurs nor the Pacers. But again, there are commonalities and things that you can take away that are beneficial to any team regardless. And again, Spurs need to find a better way, right? They need to find kind of that blueprint. Mitch has to do a better job of just kind of really coaching this team out and finding a real rotation and carving out that identity and stuff. I wasn't a big fan of his last year, but no, hey, last year, circumstances, kind of weird season, right? See what you do when you're the guy. You're able to come in, implement your philosophy, your structure, the way you want to operate, right? Rather than kind of taking over for Pop, and it's like, I don't want to change too much because what if he comes back, right? And then Wemby goes down and then Fox goes. It's just, I get it, right? No problem. But now you need to start laying the foundation and framework for, how do you want this team to look going forward? What type of players are you looking to add? What type of position are you trying to have? Are you trying to go kind of small and switchy and versatile? Are you trying to go big and physical? Are you trying to have, kind of mixed balance? I prefer be chameleon-like, right? Like, you need to go small, you can go small. You need to go big, you can go big. You want to kind of meet in the middle, you can meet in the middle, right? Like, because again, running an OKC you're not going to play them the same way that you're going to play a Denver, right? Or, a Clippers team or a Lakers team or a Warriors team or any of these teams, right? Like, every team is going to pose a different issue or matchup or whatever, right? So the more, again, chameleon-like you could be, the more adjusting you can be, and the less holes, obviously, you have, the more that you can kind of mask some of your issues, the more that you can better match up to that opposing team, the more likely it is that you're going to go further and further, right? OKC had a couple scares along the way, right? Denver, you make an argument, Denver should have won that series. Anyway, and we wouldn't be talking about OKC at all. We would talk about them losing in the second round again. And what are they going to do? Are they going to go make a play for Giannis or KD or something like that, right? Like, but they were able to pull it out. Fast forward, now they're NBA champions. And again, it's nice to have and be able to see that, hey, if we stay the core, if we do this right with Wemby and Fox and Castle and Harper and all these things, right, then there is a path, there is a version of this where we are winning an NBA championship. There's the proof in the pudding right there. We just have to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do on our end. Again, it's nice to have that visual. I really do think the Spurs can take away a lot from OKC winning the NBA championship. Again, there's always different paths to winning, right? Boston's path last year was nowhere near the path that OKC had, right? And the style of play and all of those things. Same thing with, Denver when they won the championship. And then, who was it? Warriors, right? When they won the championship. And then Milwaukee when they won the championship. And then the Lakers when they won the championship. And Toronto when they won the championship, right? Like, go down the list. Every path and version is usually different, right? So carve and create your own path. But again, you can kind of take things that work and use them to your advantage. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.